Find the product of 26 and 315. Example.
So this is just our example.
First, estimate. Round each factor.
So we're rounding both
Round
factors.
26 to 30 and round 315 to 300. The estimate is the product of 30 and 300, or 9,000. Step 1. First, multiply by the ones. 6 times 5 equals 30. Regroup 30 as 3 tens, 0 ones. 6 times 1 10 equals 6 tens, plus the 3 tens you regrouped equals 9 tens. Now multiply 6 and 300.
Find the product of 6 and 3.
Okay, so
Type your answer.
work out the entire problem on your board. So you should be multiplying 315 times 26. Okay, Christian, come type the answer. Tell us how you did it.
Multiplied 6 times 3 by going 6 times 6.
So what's 6 times 3? Okay. Yep.
That's right.
Very good.
The correct answer is 18.
So 6 times 315 equals 1,890. Step 2.
Second step.
Multiply by the tens. 2 tens, or 20, times 5 ones equals 100. 20 times 1 10 equals 200, plus the 100 you regrouped equals 300.
What is 20 times 300?
Okay, so
Type your
we're down
answer.
to that problem. Only go as far as that step. Okay, Michael, go type in the answer.
That's right. The correct answer is 6,000. 20 times 300 equals 6,000.
So 20 times 315 equals 6,300. Step 3. Add the partial products.
So add them together.
Find the sum of 1,890
Remember
and 6,300.
that you add
Type your
going
answer.
from the ones digit over to the thousands. Hey, Isabel, come type your answer.
That's right.
Very good.
The correct answer is 8,190.
So the product of 315 and 26 is 8,190.
Is that close to our estimate? Go ahead and
Click each
do
pair of
A.
factors to see how to find the product.
I want partner 1 to do our A, and then I want partner 2 to do the B. And then I want you to share your answers with your partner and explain how you found your answer, and then we're going to go over it as a whole class. Is that your, are you recording now? So now you need to find your exact like when I see that people are doing the rounding first. Okay, let's check our answers. Okay, so partner 2, was your partner correct? Was anybody incorrect? Okay. Partner 1, was your partner correct? Okay.
Math item. To multiply by a two-digit number, first multiply by the ones and then the tens.
Find the product. Type your answer.
Okay, I want you to independently do this on your own. Both partners. Make sure you find your estimate first before you solve the problem. So what are you going to round 91 to? What are you going to round 43 to? Okay, Kara, come write your answer.
That's right.
Very good.
Find the product.
Okay, go ahead and do this
Type
on
your
your own.
answer.
Make sure you estimate first. That means you need to round 348 and round 15. Okay, Baylor, come and type your answer.
That's right. Find the product.
Make sure
Type
you
your
round
answer.
first and find your estimate. I should see your estimate before I see your answer. Okay, JC, come type your answer.
Find the product. Type your answer.
Okay, this is the last one. So you should be estimating first and then working out the problem. Devin, you need to estimate first. So when we estimate, then we know if we're in the same range. Good job. So is this close to your range? So go back and check your work. So start over. Try again.
That's right.
Very good. Okay, so now this is basically just a review from what we did last week when we were doing one-digit multiplying. So when we're working in our math book, not our workbook, the math book, you're gonna have the choice to work through all the problems together with your desk partner, understand how to do this. So talk with your partner and discuss what you want to do. I'll tell you next. So what are you two doing? Together? 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 What are you doing? Together? You promise you can stay on task? If you're not, I'm gonna separate you. Together? What are you guys doing? Yep. What are you two doing? Yes. What are you two doing? Okay. So what you're gonna be doing is for my differentiated instruction video, I first wanted to give you a background on what the students were doing. So for my first example, this is what the students were doing last week, where they were multiplying a single digit number by a double digit number. So they were just doing the regular multiplication where they do 5 times 0 is 0, and then 5 times 1 is 50. So the regular way of doing single digit times double digit. So this week what they were working on was learning how to do a double digit times a 3-digit number. So what they had learned first from previously in the first lesson plan was they were multiplying just how they did it in the last one, where they did 5 times 0 is 0, and then 5 times 0 is 0, and 5 times 1 is 5. Then they would draw their plus sign, cross out their 5, which they carry down their 0, and then they multiply 1 times 0 is 0, 1 times 0 is 0, and then 1 times 1 is 1. And then simply adding the two numbers together. So everybody knows the regular way of adding a triple digit with, or multiplying a triple digit times a double digit. So one of my differentiated instructions, which you couldn't see during the video, but what the students were actually doing is they were so using the same problem, 100 times 15, they were breaking it up into two different multiplication problems where they would take your double digit, which would have been 10, and then your single or your ones digit, which would have been 5. So first they would have figured out 5 times 0 is 0, 5 times 0 is 0, and 5 times 1 is 5. And then they were figuring out their tens digits. So they would have done 0 times 0 is 0, 0 times 0 is 0, and 0 times 1 is 0. And then they would have taken or dropped their 0, and then they would have taken 0 times 0 again, 0 times 0, and then 0 or 1 times 1. And then they would have gotten their 1,000. And then they would have taken these two numbers and they would have added them together to get their 1,500. So there was two different ways for the students to figure out how they could have multiplied their two-digit numbers. And then later what we learned was there's actually another way that you can figure out how to multiply a two-digit number by a three-digit number. So what you're doing here is you're actually, first you're going to multiply your 1 times your 5, which would have been in the, where this arrow comes in, and you would have put that in your hundreds place, and then you would have taken your 1 times your 1, which is your first number in both numbers, and you would have put this in your thousands place, and then what you do for the leftover is you multiply both your second numbers by your first and your second, and since we have 2 zeros, automatically you put your 2 zeros here at the bottom. This was a little more difficult for the kids to catch on to, but once they figured out the different steps, then it was easier for them to understand how much easier it is to draw the arrows to figure out the multiplication problems rather than doing the traditional way of multiplying a 3-digit number by a 2-digit number. And some of my other differentiated instruction that you would have seen in the video was we were using technology to guide the instruction during the class, and the students really enjoy using the animated math to get their instruction. And what they do is, since this would have been an add-on activity to what we were learning last week with single-digit multiplication, they were following along with the video where first they worked through an entire problem with the video, and then they worked on a problem individually and then talked with it to their partner on how they figured out the problem, and then they checked their answer with the video. And then the students were able to work through 3 different problems individually. And the last thing that I did for differentiated instruction is I allowed the students to choose whether they wanted to work alone to do their workbook problems, to work with a partner and do all of their workbook problems, or to work alone and then compare their answers with their partner. And I've done this before where the students will work individually and then I pair them up once they've finished their workbooks, and the students know that when they're comparing their answers that you don't just say, oh, I got this answer, what did you get? And if they both got different answers, they don't just choose the smarter kid's answer. They're supposed to work it out together and figure out why one of the students got it wrong. So instead of just guessing and checking, the students actually had to work through the problem to figure out who did the problem incorrectly. And this differentiated instruction has worked very well for me because of the way that my class is set up, and they really enjoy working with partners. So to improve my differentiated instruction, there was a couple different things that I would have included, which would have been doing some more activities where I would have demonstrated the lesson to the students, and then I would have had them mimic what I was doing. Or I could have used different manipulatives, whether it would have been using the tens cubes or another manipulative to check their answers. So overall, I thought that the lesson went over very well, and the students really understand how to multiply a 3-digit number by a 2-digit number. Thank you.